Hello YouTube, this is Mr. Bakari, and today we are going to find exact values using sum and difference IDs. Now this video is going to be a little bit different than the prior video I made with sum and difference identities. And on this one, we're using sum and difference IDs to evaluate exact trig values when angles are not given directly, okay? So what we have here is we're not given angles, but we're given a trig value and a quadrant. So we're given these clues. So if we read this, it says find exact value of each if sine of alpha is 24 over 25 and sine of beta is 4 over 5. And we're given that alpha is between 0 and pi over 2. 0 and pi over 2, and that beta is between pi over 2 and pi. So I'm going to label these two. So I've got some triangles over here I've drawn, and I'll label this one A and this one B for alpha, beta. Okay, and what we've got here is quadrant 1 for alpha because it's between 0 and pi over 2. So if it's between 0 and pi over 2, we're in quadrant 1, and we're given that sine is 24 over 25. So that's y over r, and then using Pythagorean theorem, we can find x. And because this is in quadrant 1, okay, I'll just put up here quadrant 1, x and y are both positive, so we're good. Now, let's look at the other one here, and it tells us that beta is between pi over 2 and pi. So pi over 2 and pi is actually quadrant 2, okay? And we are given that sine is 4/5. So y over r, and using Pythagorean theorem again, we come up with 3 for x. But since this is in quadrant 2, we have to make sure and show that x is negative. So you got to be careful with that. Okay? So we're given the quadrant and we're given a sine function. And now we're going to use these identities to evaluate. Okay? So we're not given an angle directly. We're just given these clues, and then we're going to use our sum and difference identities to evaluate this. So let me pull up our identities here so we can look at them. And first it says, let's use cosine of a minus b. Okay? So cosine of a minus b is right here. So we're going to evaluate this using that ID right there. So typically what I'll have my students do is, whether you're memorizing this or you're pulling this from a sheet of paper or a board, I would have you copy this down, okay? And be very careful when you're copying it because these identities are very similar. So it's very easy to write the wrong one. Okay, so cosine of a minus b is cosine a times cosine b plus sine a times sine b. So now what we simply do is just take the information that we collected over here and we're going to plug these in. Okay, so cosine of a, if I go over to a, x over r is 7 over 25. And I'll multiply that by cosine of b, which is negative 3 over 5. Then I'm going to add that to sine of a, which is y over r, 24 25ths, times sine of b, which is 4 over 5. And there you go. So now we're just going to multiply this and add them together. So this is going to be negative 21 over 125 plus 24 and 4 is 96 over 125. Combine these fractions together and I get 75 over 125, which can be simplified to 3/5. And we are done. And so that's what we're doing here. We're evaluating, not given the angle directly. So by these clues and using the identities, the proper identity, that's how we are finding the trig value. Okay. All right. So let's erase this and we'll go on to the second one, which is sine A minus B. Sine A minus B. So now we are looking at this identity right here. So I'll copy that down. And that is sine A times cosine B minus cosine A times sine B. Again, be very careful that you copied it down correctly. And now we can go ahead and we can evaluate this. So sine A, y over r is 24/25 times cosine B, come down to B, -3/5 minus cosine A, 7/25 times sine B, which is 4/5. Okay, so we multiply that and we get -72 over 125 minus 28 over 125, which is -100 over 125, which simplifies to -4/5. All right, and that is the exact value. All right, let's do the last one over here, which is tangent A minus B. Okay, so now for this one, we are using this identity right here. All right, so I'm going to copy that down. Tan A minus tan B divided by 1 plus tan A times tan B. Okay, so I'm going to come up here to A, and tangent is y over x. So that's going to be 24/7 minus tan B, which is -4/3. Okay? Divided by 1 plus tan A, 24/7 times tan B, -4/3. So what I've got here is a complex fraction. So what I need to do is I need to combine the top, combine the bottom, and then divide. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. So first we've got to get a common denominator up top. So I would multiply this side by 7 and this side by 3. Okay. And that's going to give me 72 over 21 plus, because I'm subtracting a negative, 28 over 21. Okay? And then down here, I've got 24 times -4, which is -96 over 21. And then I've got 1 whole, which I'm going to write as 21 over 21. Okay? So as you can see, 1 plus the product of this is 21 over 21 minus 96 over 21. So now I'm going to combine these. So 72 and 28 is 100 over 21 over 21 minus 96, -75 over 21. Okay? So now I'm going to divide these fractions by multiplying by the reciprocal. So if I multiply by the reciprocal here, that's 21 over 75, which is negative. Okay, the 21s cancel out. And what I'm left with is negative 100 over 75. Okay? And that simplifies to negative 4/3. And that is my answer. Okay? So again, we are evaluating exact trig values when angles are not given. Okay, so by using these clues that are given to begin with, we're evaluating using our sum and difference identities. I hope this helps you out, and I will see you in the next video.